So you saw the tour of my house that I did when I first closed, and it's been a couple weeks. I've actually moved out of my place in Colorado, and all our stuff is in transit here to Georgia. So I'm going to spend a few days working in the house, hopefully getting some painting done, some updating done, and just doing the quickest fixes that I can do before the truck comes and we have to unload everything into the house, which will make it a lot harder to work. Right now I'm looking at things like paint colors. That's a nice kind of soft green we might end up using here in the primary bedroom, and making lists of things like replacing or repainting the closet doors and shelving, and maybe taking out this old intercom system. I have already added 2 carbon monoxide detectors. I'm in the process of replacing all of the switch plates. And I was also thinking about replacing all of the outlets, and now I'm sure I'm going to, because I noticed that every single one of them is upside down. This one has kind of a smoky stain above, which is probably not a good thing, and I think more than a few of them might not be working properly. So right now I'm going to go ahead and just change out the outlet covers and switch plates, but I'm actually going to come back in and take out the outlet part, the plug part, once I get settled a little bit more, and replace those with more modern versions that I know are working. Even the switches themselves look pretty old. Sorry, this wallpaper is psychedelic, isn't it? But I've got an electrician coming in. I'm going to consult with him. Every switch plate in this house is some form of cutesy. Very 80s, very 90s. I just took this one off the kitchen. There are actually a pair of them, one on each end of the kitchen, and I'm going to go ahead and just pack them up with the screws that they came with, because they're thick and they require some heavy-duty screws. And I'm going to go ahead and donate those, because you never know who might love that vibe in their house. That's a vast improvement. And of course, these new ones will have to come down when I strip the wallpaper and paint the kitchen, but it's going to be a little while before I get to that. I'm going to do our other primary living areas first, so I get a little bit of a sense of satisfaction in having something that's fine, that's new. I know that might sound a little bit weird, but it does feel good to me. This house is very, very vintage 90s. And I remember it because I decorated my house in the same style back then, but I've had several homes since that time. And I'm looking for a much cleaner, more modern vibe in this house. I will be taking down some very fancy valances, and I know they were expensive when they went in, but they're dated and they don't fit my style. So all of these are going to come out. All right, this is the living room. And since there's no light fixtures in here and it's a pretty simple room, I'm going to go ahead and start here with painting the ceiling using my new paint sprayer, which is right over there. Well, this is after, and there's places where, like over there, you can see it's shiny. Not sure if I overcoated it, but as it's drying, it's looking pretty good. And if there's some splotchy spots, I'll come back and redo. It's pretty dark out today, and with the power turned off in this hall, it was kind of a challenge to make sure I was covering everything. So I'm gonna take a little lunch break and then come back and probably turn the power back on, check all the spots, see if I missed anything, and then get cleaned up. All right, well, after hours of prep work, the first round of paint in the dining room, living room, and hallway is done. It's not that different than the color that was in here before, but that prior color was much more yellow, and this one is a little more warm. And of course, it's also fresh paint, which always makes you feel great. There is nothing like a fresh coat of paint to turn over a new leaf, start a new adventure, or welcome yourself to a new home. All right, well, painting this room yesterday when it was dark and gray outside, it was kind of hard to see everything. And I ran out of paint right about there with that little bit of wall to do, and I rolled it real quick, but I didn't do a very good job. And now that I'm looking at it in daylight, I see some other spots that need some attention. I was playing with my pressure and I can see that I missed some spots. So I'm gonna paint again. I went and picked up another gallon of this eggshell paint. The color I'm using in here is Sherwin-Williams sea salt. And ironically, when we were uncovering some of the the fixtures, you know, the wall plates and stuff. We found a blue in here that was very similar, but this is more of a green with a little bit of a gray tint to it. Very soothing, very beachy, even though we're nowhere near the beach, but it'll be nice to just have a very calming bedroom for our primary bedroom. And then I'm going to use more of a light beige taupe color in the rest of the house, which you will see soon.